Gigi. I am back from my sailing trip and all rested and sun-kissed. And it's story time. Today we are reading Artist Ted. This was written by Andrea Beaty and Pascal Lemaitre. Here we go. Artist Ted. One morning, Ted woke up, got out of bed, and looked around the room. It looked the same as it did every morning. That's not good, thought Ted. I need an artist to spiff things up around here. Ted looked everywhere, but he couldn't find one. And since Ted couldn't find an artist, he became an artist. Every artist needs an imagination. I have one of those, said Artist Ted, and he imagined a monkey juggling stinky socks. Now, if I only had a paintbrush. Artist Ted did not have a paintbrush, so he made one. Artist Ted didn't have any paint, so he made some of that too. Look, there's ketchup and mustard and blueberry jelly. He looked around the white walls, and he was inspired. Artist Ted painted and painted and painted. His mother was impressed. "What is that?" she asked. "It's my masterpiece," he said. "I call it green." "It isn't green," said his mother. "Do we have any pea soup?" asked Artist Ted. "Go to school," said his mother. She doesn't look excited. At school, Artist Ted walked down the long white hallway. He was inspired. He painted and painted and painted. Principal Bingham was impressed. "What is that?" he asked. "I call it Principal Bingham," said Artist Ted. "I do not look like that," said Principal Bingham, and he turned bright red. "A masterpiece," said Artist Ted. "Go to class," said Principal Bingham. "That's the name of my other masterpiece," said Artist Ted. Go to class. And it has a mean Principal Bingham. It does look like him. Principal Bingham was speechless. "No need to thank me," said Artist Ted. "It's all in a day's work for a true artiste." Artist Ted went to Miss Johnson's class. There was a new student in class. His name was Pierre, and he was very quiet. Pierre wore a beautiful white shirt and sat in front of Artist Ted. Artist Ted was inspired. He painted and painted and painted. Pierre was not impressed. He frowned and did not speak. "A mime," said Artist Ted, and he waved at Pierre. Pierre frowned even harder and sat down in his seat. At lunch, Artist Ted sat by Pierre. Pierre poked his potatoes with a fork and pushed them into a big pile. "A sculptor," said Artist Ted, and he helped Pierre make a masterpiece. Pierre was not impressed. He frowned again. He stomped his feet and jumped up and down. "A dancer," said Artist Ted, and he danced all around the room. He finished with a gigantic bow. When he stood up, Pierre was gone. "An escape artist," said Artist Ted. "Wow!" Artist Ted looked everywhere for Pierre. Mrs. Johnson and her class looked for Pierre too. Principal Bingham looked and ran this way and ran that way. "Help!" he yelled. "Call the weatherman! Call the gardener! Call the library! Just call somebody!" But Artist Ted was already there. He found Pierre high in a tree. Just then the weatherman arrived with the gardener and the librarians. They watched Pierre's teardrops splash onto the grass. "At least he's not snowing," said the weatherman. "Could he water the shrubs too?" said the gardener. "Hope he doesn't get the books wet," said the librarian. Artist Ted looked around the playground. He saw the white wall of the school building, and he was inspired, but he needed help. He told Mrs. Johnson, and she told her students. They painted and painted and painted. At last they finished. "A work of art," said Artist Ted. Just then someone grabbed his paintbrush. It was Pierre. He looked at the wall and frowned. Pierre painted and painted and painted. At last he finished too. Pierre stopped frowning. Welcome, friends. "A masterpiece," said Artist Ted. Pierre smiled and waved. "You are a true artiste," said Artist Ted. "Keep the brush." That night, Ted put his paints and went to bed knowing he had done a good job. There are so many wonderful arts to explore, he thought. How could anyone try them all? Ted did not have a clue. But I could get one, he thought, if I had a magnifying glass. Look at that. He's going to be an explorer. That's it for today. Gigi loves you and misses you. Until next time, toodaloo, kangaroos.